Welcome to McNeese State University's Frazier Memorial Library. I'm Barbie, one of your librarians here. In this video, we will introduce you to primary and secondary sources. Chances are that you are familiar with a number of primary and secondary sources and use them in everyday life. However, locating primary sources about an academic topic can sometimes be difficult. Primary resources are first-hand accounts of an event and are created at the time the event took place. They can also be created retrospectively at a later date by a participant in those events. The original documents usually do not describe or analyze other documents. They can also be creative works. Some examples of primary sources are speeches, laws, court documents, diaries, memoirs, interviews, and works of art. Secondary sources are written by scholars or observers after the fact and interpret or analyze primary sources or events. These sources are at least one step removed from what they are describing. Some examples of secondary sources are textbooks, encyclopedias, essays and reviews, and magazines or journal articles which analyze events or ideas, and books which provide a summary of events or synthesize information from many primary sources. Here are a few examples of primary and secondary sources. Mozart, The Magic Flute, which is an opera composed by Mozart, is a primary source, while Mozart, a book written by Stanley Sadie that discusses Mozart and the opera, is a secondary source. As with Gettysburg Address, the speech by U.S. President Abraham Lincoln is a primary source, whereas Lincoln at Gettysburg, The Words That Made America, a book by Gary Willis that discusses Lincoln and the address, is a secondary source. This concludes the brief introduction to the difference between primary and secondary sources. If you ever find you need assistance with any of the resources discussed here, please contact a librarian. Thank you and have a great semester.